Hi everyone, my name is Sumit. I'm a digital chess coach. In this video, I'm going to explain to you chess notation, which is the chess language. It's very easy to learn. I mean, there's no rocket science to it. It will take only a few hours for you to learn it and master it. It is very important because when you play serious games, you have to write down the chess moves as well. And also, it will help you to read chess literature, chess books, and follow chess games online. So it's very easy. So let's learn the chess language, the chess notation, which is called the algebraic chess notation.
Now let us understand the language of chess players, which is called a chess notation. And it is very easy to learn. And we are going to learn the most easiest and universally acceptable chess notation, which is called the algebraic chess notation. So let us uh, see what it is. Um, just let me open the slide for that. So chess notations are it helps you to record the moves of the game in a shorthand form, and it helps to keep score sheets of the game played. So learning chess notation is absolutely essential because of the following reasons. Number one, it will help you to go through the chess books and chess literature very easily. The laws of chess stipulates that a player is required to record his own moves and those of his opponent, um, move after move while playing a tournament game. So, therefore, I recommend that you develop a habit to write down your games neatly and correctly, whether it is a serious game or a practice game or a friendly game. It will help you to go through your games again so that you can find your strong and weak points, which in ultimately analysis will help you to become a good chess player. So, what is an algebraic notation? Algebraic notation is a method which is used universally as the system of recording the chess game is very simple and lucid, and as it eliminates the possibility of making errors. With a few minutes of practice, you can become familiar with chess notations. In this system, the vertical rows of squares from left to right are called files, and they are indicated by alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and the horizontal squares going upwards are indicated, and it is called ranks, and it is called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With this division, each and every square on the chessboard can be identified by a unique combination of a letter and a number. So we can see this diagram. I've used the chess notation to denote each square, and each square has got a code. So the rows are one named as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, and the columns are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. So each square has got a unique combination of the alphabet and the number. So this square is called the E4 square because it is in the fourth rank, and it is in the E file. So E file is numbered as E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, and E8. So it starts with a white, where the white pieces are, and ends with the where the black pieces are in the top position, in the top of the board or the other end of the board. So this is how it is arranged in a practical game. It will be like this. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it is numbered as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, E, F, and G, H. So a chessboard is actually an 8 by 8 matrix, as I told you before. So this is how it is depicted. This is a G5 square because it is on the 5th rank and it is on the G file. Likewise, A1, A2, A3, and A4, B1, B2, B3, and B4, C1, C2, C3, and C4, and D1 and 2, D4. So this is how it is numbered. So how pieces are represented? The pieces are represented by their first letter and how they always record in capital letters. The king will be K, queen is Q, rook is R, bishop is B, and knight is N. Knight is denoted as N because of the second letter, because the first letter is taken up by the king. So to avoid contradiction and clash, the knight is represented by its second letter, which is N. So to record the movement of pieces one square to another, each of the pieces is indicated by the initial, which rook is R and bishop is B, followed by the square of arrival. So in this example, when the bishop is played to E5, it is recorded as B, capital letter B, E5, which is shown here, right? So that is how it is recorded, and the movement of pawn is recorded by indicating the square of its arrival. For example, if you play black plays C7 to C5, it is represented as C5, and if white moves E4, E2 to E4, it is represented as E4. The movement of white pawns from E2 to E4 square is simply recorded as E4, and that of black pawn is C7 to C5 is recorded as C5. So unlike other pieces, no initial letters has been given to pawns like P. It is just the file name and the square. So do not forget to prefix the number of moves, move number. For example, 1 E4 means the first move of the game, and the pawn moves to E2 to E4. 2 and F3 means the second move of knight from G8 to F3, G1 to F3 square. So that is how it is represented. Here there is a mistake. It is not G8, it is G1. I will correct it in the resources. So captures are indicated by letter into inserted between the chessman doing the capturing and the square on which the capture is being made. It is not necessary to mention the chessman which is captured. For example, if a rook is capturing a knight on G6, it is recorded as rook R into G6, not as R into NG6. It is not necessary. You can also record it that way, but it is not necessary. In the case of capture by pawn, in addition to the square of arrival after the capture, the file of the departure must also be indicated first. For example, if a pawn on B4 is capturing a pawn on C5, you have to mention as B into C5. So this is an example. You can see that white has many possibilities. The white rook can capture this G6 knight. The queen can also capture the G6 knight. The bishop can capture this pawn on C5, and this pawn, white pawn can also capture this black pawn. Similarly, black can also have a queen can capture this A6 rook. His rook can capture this bishop, and this pawn can capture this pawn, and this knight can capture this pawn. So these are the possible captures, and I've given it 111 because we don't know the move number. It's just a random move, so that is why I've given as 1. And if you are making a black move, you have to give dots so that to indicate that black is doing the capture. So I'll give you an exercise to do it for yourself in the PDF as well, and also some other symbols. The check is represented by plus symbol. Double check is represented by double check means you're giving check with 2 pieces. It is represented by plus plus, and a checkmate is represented by a hash symbol. So there's a sample game which I have given. For example, I'll just play through some of the games and give a commentary. So here, if white plays E4, E5, knight, NF3, NC6, bishop C4, knight NF6, D3, D6, castling, bishop E7, C3, castle, rook E1. Castle is actually depicted as 0-0, and queenside castle as 0-0-0, which I will cover later. And you know, knight b d2, knight, it is typically it is recorded as knight b d2 because both knight can go to d2, so you have to indicate the file name as well, knight b d2. Rook e8, so there's knight here, knight f8, bishop c f8, etc. That knight f1, sorry, and bishop f8. That is how the game continues. So you can go through the game I have given in the PDF and just try to play through the games on the board. And also algebraic notation is easy to master. Sometimes you will face complications, like in this position where you know, two squares can be moved, same piece can move to the same square, like, you know, these two knights can move to c5, these two rooks can move to this c1 square, and these two rooks can move to this d8 square. So that is also possible, but there's a way around it. White can move so in this case, for example, in the above diagram, if you want to move your rook a1 to c1, you have to specify the file name of the rook and square to which it is moving to. For example, if you want your rook a to move to c1, you have to record it as rook a c1. If similarly you want to move the other rook to c1, you have to mention as rook e1, rook e c1. And if you want to move the knight a4 knight to c5, then record it as knight a c5. And if you want to move the other knight, record it as knight d3 to c5. And a pattern of recording the moves of knight rooks or in the same file or rank, which may be moved to the same square, is as follows. For example, if the black rook are standing on d4 and d8, for example, rook is on d4 and d8, and it wants to move to this square. For example, you will record it as rook 4 to d6, and if you want the other rook, let's say this is a white rook, other rook same color, of the same color, if you want this rook to be moved to this square, record it as rook 4 d6, and if you want to move this rook to this square, the d6 square, record it as rook 8 d6. So that is how you record. And in the case of knights also the same thing. Imagine there are two knights here, and both knights want to move to this square. So if this knight wants to move to this square, record it as rook 4 to g5, and if you want to move this knight to this square, record it as rook 6 to g5. So I hope you understood, and go through this a few more times until you understand the concepts. And PDF will be on the resources. Go through it multiple times until you understand the concept.